What up, everybody? I'm saying the wrong intro. Allo, bonsoir. I'm the Mademoiselle in sa deuxième Chanel. And as you guys can tell by the title, we got another mermaid story time for you guys. I know you guys love the mermaid stories, and I like to keep them in the vault, bring them to you slowly so you guys can just sit there, watch, and relax. But before we get into this video, I have to tell you guys about the pop-in behind opportunity that is running right now for you guys to invest in all three of my YouTube channels. Yes, right now, if you partake in this investment opportunity, you will be able to get a piece of my monthly AdSense revenue. If you guys want to learn more, head to the link in my description and or pinned comment. Now, understand that once this opportunity is over, it's over. There will never be another opportunity like this again. Okay, I am not doing it again. So thank you guys in advance so much for investing. Now let's get into this story. All right, so let's get into this story. So this story was actually told to me a very, very long time ago. So not only am I going to mix up the details, I probably don't remember the details, but I do remember the gist of the story. Now, we talked a lot about different types of mermaids, from male mermaids to female mermaids, but we don't talk too much about children mermaids. That's because they're a dime a dozen. From what I understand, there's so many different theories about this, because apparently a lot of baby mermaids or children mermaids are kidnapped, killed, or just don't make it for lots of various reasons. But the ones that do make it are like literally a hot commodity. There's also a lot of different theories about the abilities that mermaids have. In a lot of people's cultures, it is believed that mermaids can actually walk on land and live among us. Like literally, your best friend could be a mermaid and you would never know. So this story is basically about a mermaid that was living amongst Haitian people in a community. Now, comment down below if you've heard about this. This is one of those like urban legend type of Haitian mermaid stories. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know if this one's true or not, because like I feel like it's one of those stories that they just tell you to be afraid of, to like not to go in the rivers by yourself type shit. Because I'm like, I don't know, who knows? Like I don't know. They told me that this story probably took place in Cabaret or something, because you know my parents are from Cabaret, well, my dad mainly. So I don't know. I'm like, maybe the story's real, maybe the story's not. We're gonna give these people fake names because, again, not only do I not remember, but yeah, just in case this might be a real story, I ain't trying to leave people's identities, all right? So we're going to name the mermaid in this story Siren, because why not? And we're gonna name the little girl in this story Adele. Yeah, we're gonna name the little girl Adele. And we're gonna name the parents, honestly, we just gonna give them biblical names, Mary and Joseph. So there once was a family, Joseph, Mary, and they had a child named Adele, and they lived in Cabaret, Haiti. Now, I'm telling you right now, I don't even know if it was Cabaret. Okay, we're just gonna say Cabaret because that's where my parents are from, and I believe it was one of my parents that told me the story a very long time ago. Okay, and essentially they lived by a nearby river, and they basically used to tell Adele all the time, "Don't go by the water, don't go by the water." She never listened, and she always went by the water. But they did tell her that if she ever did go by the water, because we know these kids don't listen anyway, please do not pick up anything crazy. Do not steal anything. If you see anything weird, put it back down. Anything you take, make sure you return it. And most importantly, don't bathe by yourself. Always call me or your father, whatever the case may be, because, you know, it's dangerous. So Adele was young. Adele had to be like 7 or 8. So, I mean, that's a pretty valid thing to tell a child, because, you know, she could always drown in the water. So the water behind their house was like a river. So we all know that rivers could be pretty volatile. Like the river can kind of like push you down. The rocks are pretty sharp. So at the end of the day, regardless if the kid knows how to swim or not, we all know like really bad things could happen to you in a river, especially if you are a small child. So they always told her like, please be careful. Don't go in the water by yourself. But we all know you kids don't listen. So she would do it anyway. She would always go down by the river. She would sometimes take her friends down by the river, but oftentimes she would go there alone, especially at night. So one day Adele went down there at night and she saw a little girl. Now, the thing is with this little girl is she was always by herself, and she would always appear when she would be collecting like little rocks and things like that. And the little girl would never speak to her. She would just look at her and she would try to like speak to her, but the little girl would never speak back. And she's just like, hi, like, you know, like, who are you? Like, como ye, qui es ye, you know, stuff like that. And she wouldn't answer. So the little girl is just looking at her like, just looking back at her. At first, the little girl wouldn't say anything to her. She would kind of just like, she was facing backwards, but she had like long hair. She was pretty. She was like a really, like a girl, but she was sitting on rocks. So she just thought it was like a regular girl. But at the same time, she could tell she wasn't, because first of all, she had long straight hair. Not to say Haitians can't have straight hair, but this girl kind of looked grudgy looking. She had straight hair. She had like pale skin. But she wasn't scared or anything, because again, kids, I feel like kids are pretty fearless. Like she didn't think anything of it. She tried to talk to the girl. The girl didn't answer. She had her back turned. She was like, all right, whatever, I'm gonna keep collecting my rocks. She went back in the house. She told her parents like, hey, I saw some girl in the water. You know, she might need help. And her parents already knew what it was. Okay. Now the reason Joseph and Mary already knew what it was is because they had an established relationship with the people in the water. They already knew that the people in the Dlo, whatever, in the river, were mermaids. And this is because most of the time, Haitians, like when it comes to Haitians that live by water, either they're associated with La Siren, Urzali, Agua, whatever the case may be, whether it's a negative or a positive relationship, they usually have an understanding with the family that they either protect the family or the family just stays away from the water. They don't bring their kids near the water. It's always something. Okay, it's always something. They usually have a mutual understanding when it comes to the water. And typically, what really annoys me about this situation when it comes to the kids in the water and the families in the water is that they never tell the kids. It's always oh, just don't go by the water. You need to go in the water, tell us. Oh, just don't mind it. Don't go there at night. You understand that when you tell kids not to do something, they're going to do it, right? You understand when you like leave that air of mystery, when you tell kids, oh, don't mind that. Oh, it's scary. Very terrifying. They're just going to sit there and be like, okay, what's so terrifying about it? They're just going to sit there and be like, okay, well, let me go see why my parents don't want me to do this. You're not going to make them scared to go by the water. So essentially, when it came to Joseph and Mary, spanned for generations from their parents to their grandparents. And this part of the story is pretty murky. From what I understand, something happened where the grandparents kind of harmed one of the mermaids. So now they're indebted to the mermaids and they're not supposed to touch the water unsupervised or something bad's gonna happen. Keep that in mind. Technically, I don't want to say the mermaids are going to protect them because technically you kind of have a the mermaids have a grudge against you, right? Typically with a lot of these stories where the family live near the river, you have the mermaids that are going to protect you, right? You have the mermaids that are like, hey, yo, we got your back. You know, you respect us. We respect you. You know, we share the land. See, in this situation, you have basically a generation that has harmed the mermaids, and now the mermaids are basically hostile. So now they're going to be hostile towards all your kin. So that's basically why they told Adele, like, listen, you cannot just be going in the water, call us, you know. So Adele is not only going in and near the water without permission, but now she's picking up shit. Okay, how many times have we told you guys on this channel, do not pick up the shit near the water or at all that you don't know. Okay, if you don't know where it comes from, don't touch it. If it's the mermaid shit, don't touch it. Don't bring it in the house. You know, we talked about this numerous times. Okay, feel free to watch my other mermaid videos. All right, you should never touch possessions that are not yours by the water because more than likely it belongs to a mermaid and you're gonna piss off the mermaid. Okay, you know, after that they told Adele, like, yeah, sorry that you were scared by the little girl. You know, it's probably nothing. You know, they tried to lie to her and say it was probably some village kid. Obviously, Adele's not dumb. She was just like, oh, okay. Like, you know, so she sits there, she's looking out her window. She keeps going back by the river, trying to see if she could find this little girl. So days go past. She keeps trying to see if she could find her. She doesn't see her for literally a couple of weeks until one day she stumbles upon her again. Except this time, the little girl speaks back and the little girl's like, hi, like, como ye, da da da. And she's like, oh, like, I was looking for you. Like, I saw you last time. She's like, oh, yeah, I'm here. And of course, like I said, we're going to name the little girl Siren, the mermaid girl. You guys are probably like, okay, well, did she look like a mermaid? Did she whatever? From what I understand, this mermaid was able to walk on land and water. Just remember the story again a couple weeks ago when someone asked me that question. I'm like, I don't remember ever hearing mermaids could walk on land. But I'm like, yes, the fuck they can, because somebody else told me a story like that recently. And I think I told it on this channel. So I'm like, yes, they actually can. I've heard of this before. So essentially she was like, yeah, I remember you. She was like, oh, well, why didn't you answer when I spoke to you? She was like, oh, my parents told me not to talk to strangers. Girl, anyways, so Siren's like, oh yeah, you know, so she basically gets up and she has feet, but obviously she looks a little strange. Obviously she's pale. She doesn't look like your average human, but she looks human enough. So Adele's not necessarily alarmed. So they start talking, and I believe Joseph and Mary were in the house, but they just weren't necessarily like, I don't know. I don't like, from what I understand, the house is big, but it's not like, they weren't near that window to see the house, to see outside the house to see where the river was. So basically she's talking to this girl and she's like, okay, well, whatever, like, can you play with me, whatever. She's like, oh, yeah, we can play together, whatever. So they start playing for a little while and she's like, okay, well, I have to go home now. She's like, oh, okay, well, where's your home? And she's like, over there. She's like, over there where? She's like, over there. And she like points to the, she points to the woods and she's like, there's no houses back there. She's like, well, that's where I live. She's like, okay. So literally she turns her head and the little girl's gone. Again, Adele don't think nothing of it. Again, she's like 7, 8 years old. So she goes to her parents again and she's like, hey, you know, I saw the little girl again. Her name is Siren. So her parents are like, what? So the reason her parents are confused is because for the most part, you're not going to really see a mermaid child. A mermaid child is kind of far-fetched. It's not something that you see most of the time because mermaid children are like few and far between. They're not a common occurrence, not a common sight. So they're just like thinking that she's imagining things or thinking it's actually a real child down by the river, down by the other side, some shit. So they're like, okay, Adele. So it comes to a point where now Adele keeps seeing this Siren child. Okay, she keeps seeing her, she keeps playing with her, and mind you, this is like around a vacation time, probably summertime, and now school starts to open, and she's like, oh, if you live by the river, you know, that means you live in the neighborhood. Which school do you go to? She says, I go to school down by over there. And she's like, down by over there where? And she goes, down by over there. And she's like, down by child, Adele, poor Adele. Adele's like, I don't understand, like, what school is this? And she's like, don't worry about it. Just know I go to school. Do you want to see my school? And she's like, yeah, sure. But I have to ask my parents. She's like, what do you have to ask your parents for? Now, mind you, she's not understanding this shit, okay? She's not understanding what's going on. She's not understanding that this is a dark entity probably trying to drag her into the fucking water, okay? But she's also not understanding that she is collateral damage, okay? She's not understanding that her grandparents accidentally killed a mermaid back in the day and they want vengeance. They want a child for a child. So just to clarify, it is believed that the mermaid that they accidentally killed was like a baby, not a baby, but like a child mermaid. So they kind of want restitution. So essentially, it's funny because it's like, I'm surprised after all these years they didn't just kidnap one of those kids, but I feel like, I guess the other kids followed the instructions and not went by the fucking water by themselves. This one, Adele, I don't fucking know. Child, maybe this is a special one. Maybe she just, I don't know. Maybe parce qu'elle pas foutande. Okay, she keep going by the damn water. She keep talking to this damn mermaid. I don't understand why this one was the one that kept getting caught up. But anyways, okay, well, you could show me your school tomorrow. Like, she said something like that, like, okay, well, I'll come back tomorrow. Something along those lines. She said, okay. Adele goes back in the house and she's like, oh, her parents are like, oh, comment journée t'es passé? Like, how was your day? How was school? She goes, yeah, everything was great. Siren asked me to come down to her school so I could see her school. She's like, come down to, how you gonna get there? I don't get it. Now, mind y'all, Joseph and Mary, like, they kind of well-to-do. They're not rich, but like they got little chauffeurs and stuff like that. They got little maids and stuff like that. So you guys probably know, like, how the hell the maids and stuff. Child, I don't get it either. That's why I'm like, I think I'm forgetting certain parts of the story here. I feel like some of the maids probably told Joseph and Mary. Yes, I do remember that part. Some of the maids told Joseph and Mary that she was out here by the water, and they told her stay away by the water, but Adele didn't give a shit. She's still gonna go by the water. Because this is the thing with kids. You can't tell kids not to do something and not give them the specific reason not to. You can't just say don't do this because I said so. You have to say don't do this because it's dangerous, because this. You can't just say, oh, don't do this because it's dangerous. You have to say, don't do this, it's dangerous. You can lose your life because there's things that can kill you in the water. Something like that. You can't just be like, don't do this because I said so and it's dangerous. Nah, why is it dangerous, bro? Like, you can't just, like, you know, so basically the maids were telling the parents, like, yo, like, she keeps going by the water. I know y'all don't want her by the water because, you know, they want collateral damage. They want a kid for a kid. And they kept telling her, talking to Adele, like, what do you mean? Siren wants you to come see her school. Like, what does this Siren look like? You know, so mind you, this is probably like the third or fourth occurrence that they're learning about this Siren. You would have thought that they would have asked, what did Siren look like before? So she's like, oh, well, Siren, you know, she's about my height. She looks like, you know, I don't know, like long black hair, pale, I don't know. She kind of has skin that looks a little like ours, but a little bluish. She's trying to describe her the best way she can. But at this point, her parents start getting a little scared. They're like, where does she live? Down by over there. Child, what the fuck is down by over there? So her parents are just like, at this point, they start getting scared. They're like, okay, where did Siren say her school was? Down by over there. Down by over there where? I don't know. She just said down by over there. Now, I actually forgot this part of the story. People honestly thought that Adele was kind of losing her mind because there were other kids in the neighborhood that said that Adele was sitting here talking to herself, because when she would start going to school and she would go around the other neighborhood kids, she would bring Siren with her, but no one else could see Siren, okay? Only Adele could see Siren. So everybody's like, yeah, like, you know, all these other kids would go to their parents and they'd be like, yo, Adele keeps saying she got a new friend named Siren, but we can't see this Siren. So then eventually, like, the parents of the other kids will go to Mary and Joseph and be like, yo, gen problem avec Adele, oui. Adele di gen yon zami rele Siren, pa gen moun ki ka we Siren. You know, Adele keeps saying she has a friend named Siren and can't nobody see Siren. You know, you guys might want to go get her checked out by a psychiatrist or something because something might be going on with her. So it was just crazy. So it got to a point where basically everyone is like thinking that something is genuinely going wrong. Y'all, a mess. So now they are terrified. They take her, they put her in the room. You know, Haitian parents. No, you're not going outside. You're not doing this. Like, just they start going off. They're scared. Now they start calling organs and mumbos and all, child, the works. Okay, the voodoo works. All right. So now they go to a mumbo, and the mumbo is telling them like, yeah, so it's time to collect. Now, from what I understand, it had been exactly like, child, don't even quote me on it. Could have been like 60 years since this mermaid baby was born or killed. Something along those lines. Do not quote me on the years, y'all. I got ADHD. It was at least 15 years since I heard this damn story. Okay? It was literally time to collect. Okay? So they basically targeted the child because not only was she an idiot and didn't listen to her parents, but because, I mean, it was easy money. So they were just trying to get, you know, information from the mumbo, like, yo, what do we do? Like there was just like, oh, there's nothing you can really do except for keep her inside. But at the end of the day, understand that, you know, some mermaids could actually come on land and, you know, it's water. You know, mermaids travel by water. It doesn't matter where you take her, they're going to take her or try to take her. Child, they kept this girl indoors for a minute. Okay, so months passed. Okay, they clearly they took her to and from school, shore 4 in, shore 4 out. She was not allowed to go in the river. They had indoor plumbing, by the way, so she didn't have to like bathe in the river. Like a lot of Haitians just like to bathe in the river regardless if they have indoor plumbing or not. So like I said, like they had money, so it wasn't like one of those things, like it was an option to bathe in the river. It was just fun. So they didn't let her go outside into the river or anything like that. When it came to the beach, bitch, oubliez ça. Like all of that shit, it was bugged. Okay, like they was not playing. They were bugged out. They were freaked out. And I guess after a while, they kind of like stopped caring or forgot about it. I don't know. Like personally, I don't think I would ever forget about that. And I think they thought that if they took her outside of the vicinity of that river, it didn't matter. I really don't know what these people were thinking. But fast forward to like maybe 2 years later, right? Maybe they thought since the time period passed, right? It's been over 60 years. It's another place in Haiti. Times pass. I don't know, Mbakone. I don't know. Now, mind you, they don't tell Adele about any of this because they think that she's too young to understand, which she probably is. Yeah, she's like 10, 11 at this point or something like that. So now they take her to some other place. Let's just say it's Leogan. I don't know. She is in another river doing her thing, chilling, collecting shit by the shit like she always do. I don't know why she keep touching shit. I just don't get it. They should at least told her that. Don't touch. Well, I think they did. But you know what I mean. So she's touching shit. And here comes Siren. Hey, how are you, Adele? Child, they not giving the fuck up. So Adele is happy to see her friend, but at the same time she's apprehensive because obviously she got put on lockdown. So she's like, I'm not supposed to talk to you. She's like, why? And she's like, I got in trouble last time. Like, you know, I'm not supposed to talk to you. My parents said you're dangerous. Dangerous, why? And she's like, I don't know. They didn't really tell me. And she's like, okay, well, I thought you wanted to see my school. So why the fuck? Now, this is the shit. I blame all the adults involved because where were their adults? I have no idea. And I will say this is a problem with a lot of Haitian people. Like, and this is why I would never let Haitian people watch my kids. I'm sorry. Unless I know you personally and I've known you for years, a lot of Haitian people have this style of watching kids where it's just, I'm watching the kids. And then they're on the phone in the next room. That's watching the kids to them. No. Or I'm watching the kids and the kids are playing outside and they're in the house. That's not watching the fucking kids. Watching the kids is actually visibly watching the fucking kids. If you're watching children and your idea of watching children is not actually visibly being in front of them and being in the same room as them and being in the same vicinity as them, I don't need you watching my kids. No, like, I'm sorry. It's not a fucking dog. It's not a fucking cat. From what I understand, it was a lot of other kids, but she had wandered off by herself by the water, and this girl, okay, Siren, takes Adele and starts walking off with her somewhere, and she's like literally in the water with Adele. She takes Adele into the water, and yeah, she's like, where are we going? Okay, Adele's like, where are we going? She's like, we're gonna see my school. It's it. Clearly, she was taking her to Ariel's kingdom. They vanished into the Dilo, okay? But I personally don't understand how I want to see. No, I don't want to see because next thing you know, I'm going to see the water portal, okay, starts opening, okay? And it starts, like, you know how they have water whirlpool situations? It starts doing that shit. And I don't know what it's called, y'all, because I'm not good with water. I'm terrified of water. I can't swim. So apparently they hear Adele screaming. Okay. At this point, now the kids start running. Okay. The adults are in the fucking house. Adele is screaming for her life. The kids can't swim either, with the exception of maybe 2 older ones that at this point they see the shit spinning, but they're like, we can't go in there because then we're gonna get caught up. So now they call the adults come running, they throwing a rope to her, she catches the rope, they trying to pull her out, child. I just don't understand the adults in this situation, because why are you guys not watching these fucking kids? Like, you're supposed to be watching the kids, but you're in the house, by blog, like talking shit about people, because that's what Haitians do, right? But anyways, that's neither here or there. So they're trying to pull her out, they're trying to fish her out. They're like 10 minutes of tugging and probably her getting so much water in her lungs, they finally pull her out. Parents come, Joseph, Mary come, they hear what happened, they're pissed, everybody starts arguing, you know, Haitian semantics, porque são pagade timunyo, no te ondon, no te pagade timunyo. bullshit. Siren attacks again, or the sirens attack again, okay? And they didn't get Adele this time, but let's just say that they did not stop trying. They were not fucking around, okay? They were not fucking around with this family. They said, we are gonna get what the fuck we want. We want this child. We want to get our baby back, or some remnants of it. So you guys are probably thinking, oh, this is over. They tried. You would think they learned. Do Haitians ever learn? No. That's why the country's in the current state that it is. Sorry, just had to say that. Love my country, but my people never fucking listen. So you would think that after this, they just don't let her go back to that house or anything like that. But at the end of the day, family's family. And a lot of Haitians believe that blood is thicker than water. I personally do not, but these people do not. So fast forward, they let Adele go back to that house for whatever stupid ass reason. No, actually, I believe there was a real reason. It was, whatever it is, it was actually valid. I just don't remember what it was, but it was actually a valid reason. Something that has to do with someone being sick and they had to leave her over there because they ain't had no choice. So essentially, she had went to live in Leogane. That's what it was. Something was going on. It was temporary, so she was actually going to school. It was the aunt and uncle that lived in there. Now, mind you, the way this house is structured, it's near water. And the driveway is directly near the water. So the car is like, the driveway is like right near the water. So she's in the car and they had left, but then they came back and they had to go get something in the house. This part I don't blame on them because it's innocent. She was sent to school. They were bringing her to school in the car. They forgot something. They came back. They went upstairs. They left her in the car. And then Siren pops up. This girl scared for her fucking life at this point because, you know, Siren was trying to kill her last time. Now I think she get the drift that Siren not good, bro. Yo, I will say, I give the mermaids that determination reward. So she is in the back of the car, and she ends up, this one she's like, what, 11? This not a Disney movie, bitch. This not Ariel. So bitch get in the car. Oh, let me not call Siren a bitch. Sorry. Sorry, get in the car. Why the fuck the car start receding backwards into the river? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the car start doing the root. So I told you the river's here, the car is here. The car starts doing the root, like right into the river. Mind you, she's in the back seat. The car starts receding into the water. At this point, the uncle starts coming down and he's looking at the car. The girl is screaming for her life, trying to get out the fucking back seat. Luckily, they got her out. And from what I understand, the girl ended up moving to like Canada or something after the fact. And yes, that's the end of the story. From what I understand, they never ended up getting Adele. But she ended up having to get cleansed and having to ask the mermaids for forgiveness, Ursuli, La Siren, all of that. On behalf of her family, because like that shit was like tragic and they were never going to stop coming after her. And that's why I always tell you guys, like in a lot of my spiritual videos, especially my voodoo videos, a lot of times, a lot of things that are happening to you have absolutely nothing to do with you. It has a lot to do with your family and a lot of bullshit that they've done. There's a lot of y'all that are going through shit simply because your family made a couple of bad deals, did a lot of bad deeds, and now spirits are coming after you. People are coming after you. Bonds have to be broken. Like it's really, really bad. That's why I always tell y'all, like, find out what the fuck y'all parents and y'all family members is into before you got to deal with it and it's too late. Like it's not a game. It's not a joke. It doesn't matter what you necessarily believe in. What it is what it is. Facts are facts. Okay. At the end of the day, like a lot of you guys are going to have to deal with things that sadly have nothing to do with you. And it's all because your family did a bunch of bullshit. Okay. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. And of course, like I said, your spot in this investment opportunity, because once it's done, it's done. With that being said, I love you guys so very much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.